So this is us for the next episode of Mother Murphy's Beyond the Tea Room. So I'm Deborah and our special guest today is Jessica from the Ricketty Desk, and we are working through one of our recipes from the magical tea room on the hill, and Jessica decided that she'd like to make empire biscuits.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you want to just introduce yourself, Jessica?
Hi, I'm Jess, as you know.
Yep.
I'm from the Ricketty Desk and I'm an illustrator who's illustrated your books.
Fabulous illustrations, yes. Yeah. So why did you pick empire biscuits? Was there a particular reason?
So empire biscuits are our way of testing whether we like a good bakery or not. They're always our go-to biscuit. No pressure. But we haven't ever made them at home, and I host an annual Macmillan Coffee Mornings. We'd love to be able to include them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you've never made empire biscuits?
Never made empire biscuits.
Right. So we're both going to make a batch of these.
Yeah.
In the tea room, I used to make empire biscuits, and it was a recipe that somebody had given me years and years ago, an old friend called Lorraine, and she gave me the recipe, and they were just gorgeous. And there was always that little bit of a debate of what you're going to put on the top of the empire biscuit.
True.
So we'll come back to that later. But all the customers loved the empire biscuits, and when we started specialising in the gluten and dairy free, and I was like, do I really want to spoil my empire biscuits? So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to try. The first ones that came out, they were like cement. It was like awful. So it took me a long time to be able to get an empire biscuit that was as good as the others. By the time the tea room actually closed, thanks to COVID, the only empire biscuits I made in the tea room were gluten and dairy free.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So empire biscuits by themselves are naturally dairy free if you use a dairy free fat, which we're using today. I'm not making them gluten free today. These are just standard flour. So I make them in a food processor. Now I have the luxury of having 2 food processors. So one of them is gluten free, because if you can imagine trying to clean these, so if it's somebody that's celiac, one little crumb can make them ill.
Yep.
So trying to clean that and make sure it's absolutely clean is too hard. So I have one that's actually marked as gluten free, and only gluten free stuff gets used in it. But today we're using our standard one, so we'll move that one out of the way. It's a little bit noisy when we use the food processor, so we're going to put them all together, and we'll take a little break while we're mixing them, because nobody needs to listen to the food processor. Okay. So very simple: 200 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of corn flour.
Yeah.
We've got 50 grams of icing sugar, and we've got 200 grams of. Now I'm using stalk block, which makes it dairy free. You could use butter, but I like salt.
Unsalted?
Personal choice. Personal choice. Yeah. And basically you just put it in there, mix it all together until it's almost made into a dough.
Okay.
And that's it. And then we roll it out. Okay. So you can start by, you can have a large one or a small one.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, you can start putting your ingredients in there. We'll just make sure that you're...
In order?
I tend to put one of the dry ingredients in first, so that the stalk doesn't stick to the bottom.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. So tell us about the Ricketty Desk, which is your business.
So I create illustrations for books, corporate illustrations, so I do live conference drawings, mind maps, take very boring documents and make them interesting to read.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got that all over the middle.
That's okay.
I'm really not a pro at using a mixer.
So that's your plain flour.
Corn flour. So I also teach origami as well. So it's very wonderful. Lots of origami workshops on the
And
go
I have
at the
some
moment.
fabulous origami that you have made for me to show later. So that's your corn flour that's gone in.
Next.
Yeah, you can do.
I know what I'm in it.
Yeah. So what got you into drawing originally then?
I have always drawn from very, very little. I've got lots of memories of drawing. One of the first things I ever drew that I remember distinctly, that because it made it to the wall, you know, your art's achieved something if you've made it to the wall and it was pinned up, was a glitter lorry. So it was a painting or a drawing of a glitter lorry, but I didn't think they were called a glitter lorry. I thought they were called a glitter lorry, and they put sparkles over the road, which is what melted the snow.
Right.
So we've got, that was one of the first pictures I
That's
remember
such a,
drawing.
that's a good
It's a very random memory,
I
but
like that idea of a gritter lorry.
a glitter
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does sparkle. If you look at it, that does salt that it puts out.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot more fun,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So if you can just scrape that off there for
You
when
just
we...
saw the mess you've made out, Jess.
No. So just to put that on. No, oh, it's just from that top, because then we just pop that.
I usually just use a bowl.
Like that. That goes in, and then we just, and all we're going to do is we're going to blitz it. Now I'm not going to do this on camera because it is very noisy and it might make the camera shake as well.
Full.
And you just turn it on and you blitz it for 20 seconds, and it'll start mixing together. Turn it off, give it a little bit of a stir and make sure it's not all sticking, and then do it for another 20 seconds or so, and it will start to come together as a dough. You don't want it to have formed a dough.
Okay.
I'll show people, and it just comes together, and that's it, and then you roll them out, okay?